visible and at a point we'll be able to observe it with our naked eyes as it approaches the Earth. Without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, and this was the footage. Well, in fact I cut out a part of it from security video. Okay, so here is the recap. Something very interesting, something unique was captured by Coroner 2A instrument, a dark and loud object or a system of objects. This circular thing was caught right in the vicinity to the sun. You can also see the sun bursting out plasma. These bursts of plasma are called CME, and there's nothing really special about it. But what is special, I repeat, is the system of objects seen near it. Now, this is nowhere near the first time we capture something big in the vicinity of the sun that seems to be heading our way. If you are a follower of the series, you already know that in 1983, NASA discovered this planet X with an infrared satellite, but then rejected it after 1 week when President Reagan made it a part of a national security mandate. Then, in 2016, NASA once again announced the mathematical evidence of planet X about 10 times as big as Earth, looking beyond Pluto. Anyway, this is just another of those footage to reassure you that Nibiru is out there, and it represents an imminent threat. I don't know when, but it definitely is real, and I'm just afraid we won't know it before it's here and everything is too late. Now, here are some more interesting footage. These are all amateurs and a bit coincidental captures of images and video that are flooding all over the social media channel. They all show something lurking near or behind our sun. According to me and our team, these are very unlikely to be internet hoaxes or choice or lens abnormality or Photoshop. What you can see here is a blue star Kachina. It is widely known as the precursor of what to come or Judgment Day as we know it. This day is brought about by planet X and it increases the Earth's wobble by its gravitational forces, which in turn will lead to extreme climate and seismic activity, annihilating life on Earth. This was accidentally captured during a sunset in Rosono. At first, the people who got the star thought it was a lens flare or something on the lens, so they cleaned the lens, but they still got the subject moving across the sky. The next one here is in Venice, Italy, where two suns were seen in the sky on the 29th of January 2016 at 4:30 in the afternoon. Mind you, this is not the first time two suns were captured. They have appeared around the world and been on the increase in the recent years. People in Canada have seen this. People in the United States have seen this. People in New Zealand, which is literally on the other side of the Earth, have also seen this. Here's another one captured in the south of Mexico on the 19th of March 2016, which is only 2 months after the previous footage. The video is in the time-lapse. The bright red second sun we see in the sky is very likely to be the system of Nibiru or Planet X or whatever you want to call it. We call the insight from the Hubble Insider. The system center is an object, sun or planet, as massive as 3 to 5 Jupiter, and it is composed of essential iron, oxide iron, oxygen, and ozone. These iron-based components make perfect sense because iron was what gives this thing that red color. Now here's something professionally captured. Sadly, we don't have the original file, just a video of the video. Anyway, this was taken from the Moonglow Observatory in Warren Bucks on the 1st of April 2016, in which you can clearly see the system of Planet X glowing brighter and redder than the rest on the top of the screen. The visibility is astounding, and we can't deny that it's getting closer and closer. On the same day, US citizens could see 2 suns in the sky. This is definitely not a lens flare because you can see the second sun was later gradually blocked by a cloud passing by. 3 days later in Adelaide, Australia, someone named Nathan Smith captured this picture of something's coming. Again, A red circular object was in the sky, and this time we could even see what seems to be its fields of debris and stuff. That's all the footage I have for today, guys. I must say that all of this is strikingly amazing to me, and they are concrete proof we cannot be denied that a system of celestial bodies is approaching our planet, and the Nibiru catalysm is inevitably on this way. No matter how hard NASA and the big government try to hide things from us for the sake of ground control, they can't do that much longer because it is here. Planet X is here. All the ancient writings and tales and even scientific researches before all this censorship and cover came to exactly the same conclusion. Nibiru will come, and it will cause natural disaster on an unimaginable scale, and there's just not much we can do about it. So, guys, as soon as possible, grab all the information and survival skill you have and find a shelter somehow. We'll keep you updated with everything that we have, so hit the subscribe button and stay tuned. Before we meet next time, stay safe and keep looking to the sky. This is JT at X Science signing out. Planet X is just another internet hoax being brought up over and over again, said NASA. Let us build survival bunkers deep under the ground in case of a planetary collision, says the US and other major governments. This is JT at X Science, and today I'm bringing you some story that will definitely convince you of Planet X's existence. Like I always do in my video, I'll give a brief introduction to the matter because we always have and always welcome newbies entering this field. So, Planet X, also known to many as Nibiru, is a planetary object lurking beyond Pluto. Planetary object because we are not sure if it is a planet or a system of planets. If you recall in one of our previous videos, there was an interview with an insider at the Hubble Space Observatory, and he said this Planet X is actually a system with 7 planets and numerous asteroids. Anyway, back to the main point. The consensus by many ancient civilizations, researchers, and people with alien implants is that this Nibiru comes into contact with Earth periodically. By coming into contact, they means a near miss, during which the magnetic and gravitational forces of Nibiru will disrupt roll of the Earth, sending Earth into a series of chaos, including apocalyptic climate events and unusual seismic activity. This probably already rings a bell to you because, yes, we're going through a period of unusual natural activities, but we'll come back to this topic near the end of the video. Right now, I want to focus on the survival project that big governments are working on. So I have mentioned a few times in earlier videos that those in power have been preparing shelter for an imminent cataclysmic event. Let's start with the biggest power currently, the United States. What many of us may not have known is that the construction and sales of doomsday bunkers and shelter have been climbing steadily since 2016. Actually, you know what? It would be better if I saw you word from someone who is actually in the business. There is a person called Robert Casino. Now Casino is the manager of a survival firm called Vivos. He was recently featured in the Daily Star magazine, and he said exactly what I'm telling you. The elites are preparing for the end of humanity. One of the questions he poses is not very US relevant. Why did Russia have a drill with 40 million people? I mean, a drill at that scale is not something frequently affordable in terms of both money and effort. Such a drill would only take place if something really apocalyptic is imminently coming our way. And as we expected, the government do not have plans to save you and me, but they have plans for themselves as well as other economic and political elites. Well, it's understandable anyway. So here is an interview with Mr. Casino himself.
That whole upper structure can be blown away. Debris could fall in here. Doesn't matter. It won't get inside.
The master plan is for a self-contained shelter, a safe haven in the case of a catastrophe.
Would you want to survive, or would you want to sit on the porch with a bottle of Chardonnay or Jack Daniels and watch the show?
And Robert Vicino, a San Diego inventor and real estate entrepreneur, is the man behind Vivos. His vision, a nationwide network of underground shelters for survival.
There'll be double layers and razor wire. This will be an impenetrable compound when we're done.
We met Vicino at an undisclosed location in the middle of the desert, halfway between Los Angeles and Las Vegas.
We're actually walking on top of the shelter right now. It's kind of like this. You buy a fire extinguisher for your office or your home, hoping you never have to use it. But you get it well in advance of when there's a fire.
And yes, he did say buy. Think of it like fractional ownership for the end of the world.
The only safe place to be will be underground.
So you can be one of the chosen one, though, if you can afford.
If you can afford it. And you know what? The price we're charging at $50,000, I mean, it's just a matter of choice.
And what do you tell people when they say you're crazy now? Because I'm sure you still get that.
Like a fox. All right? We're not crazy. We're just preparing. We're open-minded enough to prepare. This is the main entry. We're going down a shaft, I don't know, 30 feet down.
Vicino took us inside, where he's planning to spend $10 million to turn this into this.
The whole theme here is comfort.
So this isn't Spartan survival.
No, it was.
There's a 3,000-pound blast-proof door.
You derobe here.
Decontamination room.
In the case of an earthquake, nothing breaks.
And spring-mounted equipment.
The entire 14,000 square foot facility is lined with vents like these. A gamma ray detector outside can cause these to close up in a nanosecond to keep all radiation out.
Vicino says each facility will have food, clothing, and supplies for a year for nearly 200 people. He claims hundreds have already applied, young and old, doctors and plumbers.
There is no prejudice, there is no affinity with any religion, there's no dogma, and there's no ego. You check your ego at the door.
Plans even show a detention facility and exercise equipment. Vicino says owners would meet at rendezvous points and could be helicoptered or escorted in before facilities are secured.
Aren't you trying to instill fear in people and drive them into your business by perpetuating fear?
Not at all. In fact, our website's very careful not to promote fear, just to provide an education about all the things that are already out there.
Vicino stresses the idea of a shelter is nothing new. In fact, he claims the government has top secret shelters for the elite. And it's not the problem he's creating, but he says the solution.
You know, I've had a lot of people say, well, I don't think I want to be around after something like that happens. Why? It could be a nuclear blast. It's just, you know, you need shelter, but the rest of the world might be fine. Who's to say that the world won't be fine afterwards? Might have a lot less population, but it could be a very nice world.
So there you have it, a domain expert giving us insight. You can dismiss this as nonsense and get back to whatever you were doing. Or you can start looking to the sky and keep an eye on it to see if there is any signs. You can start gathering all of your survival skill and knowledge. You can get all the information you can get on how the next event will be, and utilize all your possible resources to think of a survival plan. It's the only choice that you have. Let's get back a bit to Mr. Casino. A coincidence that he said is that the US have been preparing underground shelters and facilities since as early as 1983. Now, the 1983 rings a bell to you? If you have been following these issues, it is definitely a cornerstone. For those who are new, this is the years when NASA first announced the possible existence of a 10th planet. 10th means we count Pluto as a planet, of course. Anyway, in January 1983, NASA, using its infrared telescope from the IRAS project, a joint project by many countries including the US and Germany, discovered a planet, possibly as big as Jupiter and possibly part of the solar system beyond Pluto. The announcement made headlines in worldly prestigious newspapers like the Washington Post and the New York Times. Here's where it gets stranger. Only a week later, everything was rejected. And the US President Ronald Reagan made it a national security mandate that no individual, nor agency, nor institution whatsoever can publicly address the issue. NASA has not spoken a word about it ever since, and we can only rely on bits of information leaked about over time. So basically, the US government have been aware of Nibiru coming for 35 years now. 35 years, and they have been preparing for their survival while hiding it from us for fear of social and economic meltdown. Well, it is understandable. What would you tell your people if imminent death is coming and there is absolutely no solution in order for them to not to panic and for chaos not to break out? Well, I guess you would also have to hide it for your own sake, and in some cases I get negligence is a bless because we won't know it to panic about it before it is really here. According to a lot of sources, the biggest underground facility for the United States is located in Colorado. This will amaze you. It's a freaking underground city under the Denver airport that can hold up to 100,000 people. Yes, you heard that right. It's not a bunker or anything of the likes. It's a whole city. And you and I both know the United States have enough land to accommodate its current population, so there is no point of having an underground city unless it serves some other purposes. Also, this facility lies very deep underground, in fact, deeper than needed to protect people from a nuclear bomb. Therefore, we can rule out the possibility that these shelters are to protect people from the threat of a Third World War. Anyway, underground Denver City is said to be linked to Washington, D.C. via a high-speed underground railway. Government VIP can safely make an exit from the White House to Denver in case of Nibiru and imminent death pop up in the sky. It is said that the US used the same drill that the UK and France had used to build the undersea channel tunnel. Only these drills were nuclear powered. There have been many reports from inhabitants in the area that they heard a train sound coming from beneath their feet in an area without a metro system. Therefore, it is not irrational at all to expect that a whole network of underground facilities exists to serve the elites in times of need. Now this all brings us back to 1983 and all the cover-up made by NASA and the government. This mandates all the newspaper, they are black and white in paper and definitely not an internet hoax. And I bet you wouldn't have any other reasonable explanation why all the cases happened with you. Let me tell you, regardless of how you view the mechanisms of the universe or whatever, it's this imminent war ending we're talking about. And it's not about who is right or wrong, but about preparing for even the slightest chance of survival. Even whatever your government and their agencies are telling you when it comes to the issue, listen with attention because it is all part of their agenda to protect themselves and prevent a socio-economic disaster. If this is not convincing enough for you, let's go to Russia. Russia is very open about this. They recently completed building and updating 5,000 shelters in Moscow. Each of these facilities can accommodate up to 10,000 people. And even though they don't explicitly say what these shelters are built for, all of us can speculate a big devastating event coming. And the government wants to protect at least part of the populations from the catastrophe as well as the aftermath. Not to mention the 14 million participant drill. I bet this is not at all just drill. Another big power that is preparing for survival is China. China have also been constructing ghost cities in their vast interior, far away from the coast, likely to stay safe from the tsunamis that will inevitably happen when Planet X arrives. In any way imaginable, they must also be anticipating the destruction on a very large scale. The ghost cities are there, but the reason is hidden, so that must be for the crowd control, and also for ensuring the interest and safety of certain privileged groups. And that's just three. Who knows what other big powers are up to? Germany, Japan, and the UK. They definitely can't be staying still waiting for that. So if any of you have any insights about this thing, please immediately tell us. It could mean a lot in helping millions of people have more chance to survive these cosmic collisions. So that's all I want to tell you guys today. I bet even the most stubborn denier of Nibiru will have to start worrying. I mean, if you can still be calm when all the governments are freaking out, you have my salute. Trust me, anything is just a crowd control strategy, and we need to hold ourselves together and be as informed as possible to protect ourselves from the disaster. So guys, please stay safe and keep a watchful eyes on the sky. In the meantime, we'll keep you posted, and I hope you us too, of the latest bits of information we have on Planet X trajectory. Every data counts, and it could mean our survival as a civilization. So, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. This is AT at X Science, signing out.